George Ball, carved from a piece of granite, came over to record an episode of the Real Talk podcast today. He is the Director of Land Acquisitions at Openview and the owner of George Ball Property. He's a very disciplined and organised gent who's the most driven entrepreneur I've ever had the pleasure of meeting in the last few years. We chat about how he balances his work and his relationships after just getting married recently. He shares how he lives and runs a business whilst managing his ADHD. And also we talked about how business is going in the land and in the HMO space. He's even going to start a training business in the near future. A really, really inspiring and insightful episode. Welcome, mate.
Hello, mate.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
How's things?
Yeah, good. Eventful.
Yeah. Eventful?
Busy, yeah.
Tell us more.
So we've just got back from being married, Barbados.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, mate, that's been something that's taken 10 years.
10 years to get married?
10 years, yeah.
My wife would have fucking killed me. In fact, she'd have left by now.
Kicked it down the can. Kicked the can down the road, shall I say, for as long as I could. But no, very lucky man. Feels good. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, on to exciting new chapters.
Yeah. One thing I've always said about you, and I bet this was a bit of a challenge for you, you are so disciplined, regimental, structured and driven, and you do not allow distractions to come into your life. How's that been as a, I'll call it a distraction for now, change my word if you want. How's it been trying to fit the wedding into building a business?
Yeah, it's been quite stressful. Yeah. But with that, I get it in the ear that I'm not contributing enough. And guess whose idea it was to get married? Yeah. We were going to elope. I was just in Paris. We were going to elope. Nice, easy. Yeah. But you soon realise I'm not getting any younger, mate. And my parents are getting older. And I am one of those people that can happily lock myself in a room and just graft. Yeah. But you forget how important human connections are. You forget how important it is to meet up with your pals from school. And having that wedding, we decided to have the wedding. Let's do it in Barbados. We hired a big villa, went full out, 38 of us. And just being around your pals in that environment, it gives you that little bit of energy again. I think, I miss this. I miss this. You know, that social connection.
Yeah.
And just making sure that my mum and dad saw me get married. Because I thought, we'll just go and do this, go and elope. Nice, easy. But sometimes you just got to go out your way. Yeah. So, it was a bit of ag. Yeah. And I'm making it sound like I did all of it. No, we had a wedding planner. Hannah will be watching this going, you fucking idiot. Like, you did fuck all. You know that, don't you? Yeah. So, no, mate. Yeah, but it was all right. It was stressful.
Wait, I can't get to London on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind Barbados.
You and me both.
Yeah. So 38 people.
Yep.
To Barbados. That must have been a challenge in itself. Did you go as a group?
No. So we went out a little bit earlier. Yeah. You got to do the usual. You got to get a marriage license before you actually get married on the day. Yeah. So we went out there a bit before. Got a bit of a suntan. Make sure I look sharp in the pictures.
Yeah.
And everyone came out for 6 days. It's a big ask, you know. The older you get, the more you realise that people have got kids. It's an inconvenience. So it's really a blessing, and I'm incredibly grateful. And I said that in my speech that, look, you come in all this way. People came from Dubai. People came from Ibiza, where they had to get 3 or 4 flights, stay over a night in Heathrow, and you think, Jesus, they've come out, and it's quite. You did that for me.
Yeah.
It's quite heartwarming. So.
So I'm interested in this, how the dynamic of that would have worked. Like if I'd have took 38 people that I went to school with, anywhere with me, mate, I'd be locking myself in a fucking closet after 5 minutes, listening to the negativity and bollocks that comes out of their mouth. Yeah. What's the demographic of them people?
Do you know what? A mixed demographic. Family is an interesting one, but that's one of the reasons why we had it abroad. Yeah. I hope this doesn't go too live because it cuts out a lot of potential parties that can't come. And if family is more of a key thing, my immediate network, I think they're probably quite alpha, quite similar sort of mindset to me because you've been in and around that, but it's the family part that's the interesting one. You see people that have different ideas and flashy this, and not at all, and grafting hard. I've worked fucking hard for this. It's just interesting to see that. So when you talk about the dynamics of people, mate, I'm one of these people. I'll write people off if they don't fit within. Why am I going to put up with someone? And this is something I find mad. Me and Hannah talk about this. And we're getting quite deep, but I find it really hard that people, you listen to a lot of this sort of self-improvement stuff, and people say I'm improving, but my mum's holding me back and my wife's girlfriend's holding me back, I'd fuck them off. I'd be like, if you don't fit within this and you are dragging me back, but some people go, no, I can't. I'm like, it's family. I know blood's thicker than water, but if they're holding you back, you have got to be selfish.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to look after number one, and people go, oh yeah, but I can't let go of this person in my family. Of course you can. I can write you off like that. If you don't fit within, you're improving my life, my family's life, and you're affecting my little ecosystem, you're out. I don't see you.
You are so, I've just said it now about how disciplined and focused you are. Like you've just said it there again. Like I know this from you when watching you deliver projects, how you operate in business.
But is that too black and white? Sometimes I question myself and think, have I got any empathy? I've got loads of empathy, but I'm just like...
It's not too black and white, it's just you. This is just who George is. And I admire that about you. I think it's fucking great. Because we can't all be that.
You're like me though, aren't you?
Yeah.
I know you are, because if someone was holding you back, you wouldn't carry on.
I'm done. Yeah, there's no... I'm not forgiving either. That is a trait I wish I had. And I often preach to others that they should forgive, but I'm not forgiving at all. If someone wrongs me, that's it.
Maybe I'll die a lonely man though. I say it's to Hannah, because I write people off. Maybe there'll be a point where I've written so many people off because they've upset me or not turned up and done something that I would expect them to do, that I would do for them.
Yeah, I don't think you'll die a lonely man, mate, at all. I think.
But do you know what I mean? Sometimes you think, and I sit there and...
What happened there?
A light just dropped out.
I think we move through circles in life. Social circles, and I think each time you remove people from your immediate circle, I think you step into a new, bigger and better circle. I truly believe that. Where does that come from? Where does that discipline and drive come on from you? That you ooze it. You only have to fucking look at you to know you're disciplined.
I don't know, mate. We could get deep here. Probably, if we looked at it, I mean, look, I've had counselling, because it's a detriment as well. Don't get it twisted.
Interesting.
Being that lazy, there's consequences to everything.
Yeah, of course there is.
And you've also got to bring yourself back and realise that not everything's about you, okay? As much as, it's not. But also that perfectionism thing, when people think of perfectionism, they think everything's got to be perfect. It's not always the case, okay? Perfectionism can come in a much broader spectrum. It is. So I had a thing last year, well, I'll be honest with you, because I wasn't where I wanted to be professionally, my self-worth was linked directly to that. Through no fault of my own, market, everything, we can get into this later, but I found it hard, because I wasn't where I wanted to be, to sit in the evening at 7 o'clock and do nothing and watch Netflix. I couldn't do it. And my missus was like, you need to get this sorted, like, you can't even fucking relax. That's not right. You're addicted to stress. You're addicted to pushing that dopamine hit. You're addicted to it. I'd sit there and go, why am I sitting here watching this documentary when I should be making phone calls? I'm not where I should be. I'm further back. And it takes everything in my power not to go back up into that office, because I've got an office at home now, to go and crack out. I'll do another 2 hours. I could do another 2 hours. But a consequence of that is, number one, I'm not going to have a missus. Okay, number two, you become a boring bastard. Okay, so it's just working out those parameters, and I'm constantly, like everyone, just learning and trying to take stock of the situation.
Have you ever looked into ADHD?
Yes, mate.
Assessed?
Yeah, got it. Had it since I was 13.
Do you think all entrepreneurs have got it? Someone said that.
I think it's this. It gives me up, because everyone's claiming it's now. It's something that's in vogue, and you got the likes of all these influencers talking about it. Like, mate, when I had it, I've still got it, but it wanes off, and I still take the medication now for it. But when I was 13, and no one really knows it, I hated it. I used to have to go from my pal's house, and my mum would have to give the medication to my friend's mum, and it wasn't well known that they'd look at me as if I had two heads. And I just sit there going, I'm not fucking crazy, like, I'm just hyper. Do you know what I mean? I used to get, and that's one of the side effects, is you get hyper focus. So if I decide that I am going to win a bodybuilding competition, if I decide that I am going to hit £10,000 net cash flow, it's just that, and there's nothing in those other channels which you'll get the results. I get it, and that whole theory of, because I had this challenge with my counsellor. She said, but you will perform better if you're doing 8 hours really good work than 20 hours
of average work,
and you're not sleeping, you've got anxiety, and you're turning up. And you've ingrained yourself in this hustle mentality world which I get, but I'm like, yeah, but the facts are facts. Someone puts in a 100-hour week compared to someone puts in a 40-hour week, who's going to get there quicker? And he's like, I get it, but there's a time and a place and a season for this. If you're constantly on full rev, something's going to break. And before you know it, you're going to be 55 years, you've got no kids, you've got no missus, you got divorced. And I know you don't want that. I'm like, no, I definitely don't want that. That's a bit deep, right? The intro.
No, it's right, mate. I think we're all like entrepreneurs. I think someone said it to me the other day, and I never give it much thought until afterwards. And he said, "I think we're all a little bit on the spectrum." And he said it, tongue in cheek. But the more I actually study that statement, and the more people I speak to, and the more people I have that conversation with, the more I find it to be true. I've not been diagnosed at all. My wife has, and she has it. I was at an event a couple of weeks ago, and I got talking to this woman. She was an I forget the phrase, neurodivergent inclusion consultant, or something along them lines. I was speaking to her for less than 60 seconds, and she said to me, "You've got ADHD." Oh, I fucking haven't. She says, "You have." So I was like, nah, you can't fucking go around saying stuff like that. She said, I can tell just from looking at you, just from speaking to you for 2 minutes. You can't sit still. My fucking leg was giving it this, and my fucking hands, I'm going like this. And it was a real sort of eye-opener into what this thing was, because I don't understand ADHD. I've not done any study or anything. I take the piss out of my missus for it. And
has she got better since is she medicating for it?
She's not medicating, no, but she's become better now. She's aware of why she behaves, how she behaves. She's very much like you. Like, you give her a task, she will not stop till she's done it. She's just laser focused, no distraction. She puts these things in her ears so that no one can talk to her while she's doing it. Loops or looms or something she calls them. Like these little plastic ring things. And she manages it well. And now knowing that she has this, I don't know if condition's the right word, if she's got this, what does is it a disorder? Disorder, isn't it?
It is a disorder. Now she's chemical imbalance.
Chemical imbalance. Now she's got this. No, she's been given a label, should I say. She's able to manage it better. I just reject the suggestion that I have it when I know that deep down I probably have. But for me, it doesn't help me or serve me in any way to give myself a label of the way I behave.
100%. So what, even if I do give that label and I say I'm dyslexic, so what? Or is it just a justification in my head that I am the way I am? Just is what it is.
It's mad, isn't it? How does Hannah cope with your disciplined, routined, regimented
Struggled
life?
Initially, big time.
Because you've been together 10 years, right?
10 years, So we engaged now for 2 and a bit years. Been with her 10 years, but struggled initially because I can't deviate that well. And it does become an issue, but with that there are other positives. But she struggled initially. Like, I'll give you an example. Look, we don't go into it, but she finds it mad that she can see. It calls me the Tasmanian devil. So I'll go into the kitchen, and I don't see these things because I'm focusing on the next task. There's the fucking butter, the butter's out, the peanut butter's out, the knife's out. I haven't put it away. It's like a poltergeist is coming. She's like, what? How has it happened? Like, can you not see? Like, every single wardrobe door's open. You've left that on the side. Like, sort it out. It's just as quickly as you're doing these things. It's like, okay, let's just slow things down. Close it. So struggles, mate. Struggles.
So how's business now? What are you working on at the minute?
It's exciting times, mate. And I'm not just saying this because I know we all like to say, everything's amazing. Last year was an absolute shit show. Only because it wasn't a shit show. The biggest, hardest thing that I moved to Nottingham. 2 years ago.
From Essex, right?
From Surrey. And the reason why I did that was it became very evident to me that my business, buying and selling land, was hugely dependent. And when we had obviously the lockdown, it's hugely dependent me interacting with people. So and we'll go into our business model, but our business model is very much direct to vendor. So we send letters, we have a sourcing team sourcing letters, and we look for land sites in the home counties. Surrey, Essex, Kent, East and West Sussex. High value areas where once we get planning permission, there is enough of an uplift because the exit values, price per square foot, hitting £500, £600 per square foot, I can secure a price for the landowner, put it into an option contract, use my skill set of partnering with them, get the planning ticket, and then decide whether I'm going to build it out or sell it on to an SME developer, PLC, regional house builder. That was it. But the reason why I was very good at it is because I didn't just write letters like every other dope out there using software. That doesn't mean anything.
Pink envelopes.
And you can imagine pink envelopes, and I've seen everything, mate. Tea bags in the letter, like come for a drink. But anyway, fair play to them. But I actually go out and knock on those doors. The letters go out on the Monday. They'll receive them by the Wednesday. Me and a member of my team will go and knock on that door. Sent you a letter. My name's George Ball. I think your land's got some development potential. It'd be very beneficial to have a chat with me. Do you want to come and have a meeting? Yes or no? They'll either tell me to fuck off, or they'll say, George, come in for a cup of coffee. So we've already assessed whether it's got any potential. And then we have a very clear, similar to you, a very clear sales structure.
Yep.
That we know that we need 7 touch points before we put an offer in. So in that 2-week period where we're doing our due diligence, I will go around there, cups of teas, look for surveyor visits, just try and buy some more time so they get to know, like and trust me, because there's a lot of developers out there that have given us a bad name. Simple as that. So I've got to try and change that. And so I realised that, hang on a minute, well, I can't go and knock on these doors anymore. And our typical demographic pool is, you've got to imagine that it's probably people around 55 to 65. They're sitting on a huge chunk of equity. They bought a house 20, 30 years ago in Surrey. It's gone through the roof, okay? Probably haven't got a mortgage on it, but they're now thinking about retirement. Kids are probably in their first, second year of university. The football goal in the back's not used anymore, the trampoline. And they're thinking, I don't need this big garden anymore. So I play very much into that, and I know sort of the demographic. But with those people, you need to get in front of them. They're not as, especially when you get 65, when we were doing meetings with Zoom, my closing rate just went, phew.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I was like, shit, what am I going to do?
Coming back to your point about human...
Coming back to why, so last year, exactly, so last year I realised that, during the pandemic, I realised, we've got this chunk of money that we've done from trading sites, okay, and doing the you think most business, we doubled down, got nice offices and got more staff, and realised, shit, these are all ego metrics. You need to cut this down, cut the fat completely, get as lean as possible, okay? And if I only make money once I sell a site with a planning ticket, or if I build a house out. That's the only way I make money. Now, having one revenue stream, as you know, is a weakness. So I was like, okay. Now, I've already had a small portfolio, 6, 7 properties that served me well over the last 20 years. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and buy some HMOs. Not existing HMOs, using my skill set of adding square foot, using my skill set of understanding the planning system. Let's go up to an area where I think we can buy houses, 2 beds, 3 beds, convert them to 6 beds. Went tooth and nail of that. We purchased 9 properties in 12 months, big heavy refurbishments, which was an eye-opener. Dealing with contractors at a lower level than what I'm used to, which was an eye-opener, turning over 600, $500,000, compared to when we're doing new build houses. These guys are slick, those price points, chalk and I thought I could implement those systems with a smaller contractor, scared the life out of them. Shit them right up.
Spoke about this before.
When we're doing, very detailed and, JCT contracts, we're getting, questionnaires sent out before they even tender. Everything that you teach, we implement that. Now, you cut the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, totally.
And people that don't want to do those things, as you rightly teach, they're not the right people for you.
Exactly.
They're not the right. If they're not set up in that way, or if they don't want to be moulded in that way, then this isn't someone that you want to continue doing business
100%.
with.
Yeah.
So that came with challenges dealing with multiple build teams. But more importantly, we went into this and we bought a lot of our houses when interest rates on our refinance, so our commercial rates, were about 4.2, 4.4. So I'm sitting there going, lovely, we'll buy 10 of these and I'll be sitting on a beach, got my 10 grand passive income coming in end of the year. Little did I know, Liz Truss had an absolute meltdown, and we had 14 on the bounce interest rate rises. Now, of course, I expected an interest rate rise, but not at that speed and that velocity. So my net cash flow now lost probably 600 quid per month. And I'm in the build of these programs, and I got resentful. Dealing with shit, dealing with problems, knowing at the end of this process, I'm not going to get what I want out of it, but it's sapping all this time out. Does that make sense? It's a little bit like, you remember Tyson Fury, when he beat Klitschko? And his whole life was built around that, I'm going to become the boxing world champion of the world. And he hit his goal, got his WBC, and at the end of it, he went, fuck, I've hit it, now what?
Yeah.
And I got the target that I wanted to, but it just, the output wasn't what I wanted. And I just literally, anxiety the lot, mate. I just sit there thinking, I've moved everyone up here. What am I doing? Like, don't get me wrong, the projects were a success, and I appreciate every investment's a long-term investment. I get that.
Yeah.
But I wanted a solution. I don't want to be buying fucking houses, converting them to HMO. I'm going to be honest with you, that's not my game. I don't want to be a landlord. I want to contract under big chunks of cash money. Yeah. That's what I like doing, because it'd allow me, you set a foundation, you've got that net cash flow coming in each month. It allows me to do those bigger deals, because I haven't got to sit in a feast and famine. I've got to sign this person, I've got to do this deal. Because when you're in that mentality, you'll know you're doing deals that you shouldn't be doing because you haven't done a deal for 4 months. And you're like, well, I better just do this one and just see. And you start manipulating the numbers. And every big deal, everyone will tell you, when it comes to this, is everything takes longer than you expect and costs more money.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah.
So it's like, I was like, okay, well, if I get this cash flow situation sorted, I can go back to doing what I really like doing. But now, sort of 2 and a bit years down the road, we've got 72 tenants that we're managing on this section of the portfolio. It's as passive as unpassive can be. Yeah. Of course, I'm systemising it, and you learn, and you refine it, and it's economies of scale. Okay, but yeah, it's so this year I sort of took 3 months out after Christmas. I said, right, okay, what are we going to do, George? What are we going to do? We can keep putting out time, effort, energy, and money and buying houses, converting them for the income, or we can look at using the skill set that we've got and putting that time, capital into a business that I believe will give me a higher revenue than buying a house. So we've set up, we're sort of in transitions at the moment, a couple of very exciting businesses that I can't say too much about at the moment, but property focused at its core, but then there's a care element around it. So very exciting, really exciting.
Awesome. What's the long-term plan? What's the exit plan?
Yeah, got a very clear plan, mate. So
as I expected.
Yeah, with the care company, I will exit in the next 5 years. Already working with people that have exited in my business, to venture capitalist firms that have done it, been there, done it. So there's a blueprint. I'll go and find those people. Simple as that. Right, tell me how you did it, what you do. We're going to do exactly the same thing. So that's the exit for that. Of course, everything takes a little bit longer, but everything from the structure from day one is set up for that purpose. I'll continue doing deals, all my capital plays. I'll try and do 2 or 3 of those a year, get the capital, and then reinvest it into the business. And cycle again. Like I said, but I don't need a huge amount of money to live, mate. I'm very, as long as I've got this, my base level covered, I'll keep doubling down on my business, which Mrs. has a go at me. She's like,
When's enough?
It's a great question, mate. I don't think it ever will be, mate.
No?
I've got the buzz for the game. I had a meeting last week with one of the biggest house builders in Kent, 10 years older than me. Seen a couple of my videos and said, come and have a chat with me, mate. I like you. I think we could do some business. And I can see you're hungry, and I can see, and I picked his brains for an hour. But I was saying, what's your exit? I said, I won't never exit, mate. He said, I've had Red Road, big boys come and offer to buy me out. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I love the game. I love the challenge. The harder the game becomes, the better it is for people like me. It's less competition, higher barriers to entry. Just stick with it. Stick with it.
Yeah, I think it's easier. The high, I don't want to say the higher you go, but the more you progress, I personally think stuff gets easier, not harder.
You're right.
I think there's a narrative around the further you go, the harder it becomes. I don't have that view at all. I truly believe when you're first starting out, that everybody's in competition with everybody else. Everyone's trying to stab each other or fuck each other over in some way. Clients, builders, no matter architect, accountant, whoever it is, someone wants to get something over on someone else in some way in that foundation or that setup. But I feel that when you grow, competition it doesn't disappear, but it certainly reduces, and people start collaborating more when you are higher up. I don't like using high and low, but when you're more progressed, as you progress through life, through business, I think more collaborations happen, and I think that is where it just becomes a fucking magical place. Like if you and I were starting out in property today, going on a viewing. We'd be fucking competing. It was, oh, I don't know how much George is going to put in.
Yep.
He's at 60 grand, I'll go in at fucking 61. Fuck that wanker.
Yep.
I mean, it'd be all of that type of talk. And, you know, if we were both builders going to price up some work, we'd be bothered about how much George going to go in at. I'll go in a little bit less and I'll win that job. And because of that, I think you create a really toxic business environment completely. But yet, now we are both progressed, we're both 5 years in-ish in business now, and here we both are in the same industry, collaborating on a podcast. And I think that's where better business relationships happen. We've got a conference at the end of the year where you're speaking at. Like, that's me putting you on a stage to present yourself to the fucking world. And when you're competing with others...
To your client base.
To my client base. Yeah. When you compete with others, that doesn't happen.
No, you're right.
If we were just starting out and someone said to me, Paul, you need to put a conference on, I'd be like, you want me to put 18 speakers on a stage to my clients? Are you fucking mad? Like, they'll steal them all. They're going to steal all my clients.
And I'm going to spend all that money getting them to come through the door with my pay-per-click, and then they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, they're going to go and work with George and not me anymore. Like, when you think like that, I think it's not only... I also think it's a shit way to do business.
Yep.
Like, when you're competing, it's horrible. It feels horrible. And when you collaborate and you're... Like, I spend so much time, like, talking to other people now, networking.
But you've earned that right.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So when you're starting from scratch, you don't have that track record. You don't know what you don't know. So you've got to start there.
Yeah, of course you have. Yeah.
You've just and unfortunately, when you start somewhere like that, every penny on the table counts. You have that mindset.
Totally.
You have to. You know, it's simple as that. And
I think all your competition disappears because they all fucking give up. That's what I think.
It's interesting. I'll tell you why it's really interesting, because people ask me, George, you know, you're doing these big planning applications. Where are you finding the money to do it? Because a planning application can cost tens of thousands of pounds. We're working on one scheme at the moment where our planning costs are going to come in about £220,000.
Fucking hell.
£220,000. It's capped in the contract. 120 houses I've got to promote over the next 10 years. But it just gives you an idea. So,
and that's a pure risk part as well, isn't it?
Of course it is, mate. You try selling that to an investor.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah. So it's a pure... And when could it happen?
Yeah, even if
I can't give you a time, unfortunately.
Yeah, whether you do or don't get planning, that spend still exists,
right? Exactly. But... So how does someone get into that? And as I was saying to everyone, that my planning costs will be reduced significantly compared to what you do, because I have consultants that work with me now that will take a little bit up front, but they trust in me and my ability in delivering this, and they'll take a big chunk at the back end.
Yeah.
And I said, but I had to earn that right. I've had to kiss a lot of frogs. Do you see what I'm saying? So I won't work with consultants now that won't take risk at the back end, because I'm fed up of paying everyone front end and everyone getting paid before me. And then putting their feet on and going, well, I don't really care about the outcome. You know, you paid me my 10 grand, you paid me my 15 grand.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
And it's now it's like, no. You want to work with me, this is how we're going to work.
Yeah. So what risk protection measures do you put in place before entering into a 220 grand planning process?
2 years.
So that's a 2 year process, 220 bags.
2 years of due diligence, 2 years of negotiation. Yeah. This shit just doesn't just happen.
No.
And people see the headline figures, you know, bought for a pound, and I'm going to sell it for 10 points. It just doesn't happen like that. So what's the process? Number one, you need to have very good consultants around you that you trust. Okay? Because ultimately I'm presenting that to someone to say, invest into this, because I have got, and I put a very robust presentation back to them. You've seen some of the stuff I do to give them confidence. I said, no, I can't promise you that we're going to get this, but let's look at the facts. Let's look at the data. Let's look at the top professionals in the country, what they are saying. I will go and seek the top professionals and I'll pay, you know. And at the beginning I had to pay, like everyone else, you know. And I was on a call on the way here and they were like, how did you learn all this, you know? And I said, well, for 2 years I had a planning consultant on a retainer. But what that retainer allowed me to do was pummel him full of sites. After 6 months, do you think I got a good pattern of what works and what doesn't?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So the agreement was, I'll give you £2 grand a month, but I want to send you 50 sites and you can get a report on each of them. Now, every time he sends me feedback, no good. Right, we need to be looking for this. Okay, don't even bother writing a letter for this. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's just that process of refining and understanding, and this, you know, that's time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's just as easy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Because of what you're bringing to the local authority.
Yeah.
Solving their housing crisis, their 5-year housing supply demand.
Yeah.
We don't want lots of small schemes. If you can go and get me that sorted, go and find a landowner.
And you're still doing this down south, or are you doing this in Nottingham now?
Down south.
Down south still?
Yeah.
But living in Nottingham?
Living in Nottingham, yeah.
You're making that commute then, are you? Or you don't need to go?
So I've got someone that does the door knocking.
Right, nice.
So that's a strategy in itself. We've got a middle-aged lady who's fantastic, ex-Knight Frank, looks very well put together, but very unintimidating. Her goal is not to sell the dream, it's just to get me a meeting the following week.
Yeah.
Just give them enough.
Yeah.
All your KPIs are linked to getting me meetings, because I know if I can get a certain number of meetings, I will close a certain number of people.
Yeah. And I know this just because I know you. The backyard development thing. Just tell us a bit about that, how that works.
Yeah, so back in 2019, went on a course. Someone was teaching something called land assembly. As the title suggests and what it says on the tin, you're assembling multiple titles.
Yeah.
That on its own, you can't build a house.
Yeah. Is this your mic on? Is this mic on? I can't see the green light. Go on.
Yeah. So, as land assembly suggests, it's multiple landowners. So where someone looks at something and says, you can't get a house in that garden, you're right, you can't. But if I speak to Mr. Smith at number 1, and Mr. Hobbs at number 3, and Mr. Ball at number 5, I can now buy 3 sections of a garden and get 2-3 houses on. I will agree a price to buy a section of their garden to each individual landowner.
Yeah.
And then there'll be an arbitrage. So once I get the planning permission, that will be worth a huge amount of more money than what I've agreed. Okay, but I've taken on that risk. I've spent the money. It's no financial obligation to that individual.
Yeah.
And I am partnering with you, because that plot of land on its own is worth 20 grand. I'm giving you 120 grand. The reason why I can do that is because I've gone out my way and spoken to Mr. Smith, Mr. Ball, and knocked on their door, and I am now enhancing the value of your asset.
Yeah.
And the reason why we know it's 20 grand is because you go and call your estate agent now, go and get a price for selling the house as it is, full title, and now go and get a price for just lopping off that 20 metres of your back garden. Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing now is I'm enhancing your value, and do you know what you can do? Once you've sold the garden, sell your house a year later, cash in, double bubble.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. So I imagine that a common objection, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm just thinking through it now. You tell me that my garden's worth 120k, but I need to get with George to do it and give him half the money. Do you not get, well, I'll just do it myself.
Of course.
Common.
Yeah, I'll tell him you can do it yourself. Let's get the elephant in the room. Yeah. You can go and do this yourself tomorrow. Yeah.
I like it. And how's that received?
60-year-old, 55-year-old, okay, but you need to understand the planning system. Just so you know, it's going to cost you circa £30,000 to do this. Yeah. You're going to have to speak to your neighbours as well. And you told me you don't get on with your neighbour, right? Yeah. And you don't like talking cash with your neighbour. Yeah. You told me you don't even look over the hedge and acknowledge them in the morning. Yeah. You can imagine the dynamics and all this. Okay, so there's a lot to consider.
So you're calling out the objection before you put the deal on the table.
You can go and do this, and you'll make more money. However, I've been doing this for a number of years now. This is my team. This is my solicitor. This is my planning consultant. This is my track record. Would it be better that I did this, no financial risk to you, and I come knocking on your door in 12 months' time and say, good news, we've got planning, here's your 120 grand.
Nice. And how many have you got of these in
3 at the moment. 3 sites. Every year, every year we'll try and get 3 sites under contract. That doesn't mean that I'm going to exercise, and doesn't mean that I'm going to get planning on all of them. My track record to date has been pretty good. It's about 95%. I had 1 refusal last year for an infill plot where we bought a garage, knocked the garage down and built a 3-bed house that got refused at appeal, unfortunately. But barring that, I've got a pretty good track record of it, because it's once you know what you know, and you get in a flow of these type of schemes, of a backland scheme, you know what the objections are going to be, you know your separation distance, your privacy points, your highways, your turning circles, all things that you need to factor.
And I bet you now see them everywhere. Absolutely. Once you're tuned into it.
Absolutely.
Are you one of these that drives down the street going, oh, Hannah, there's one there?
Well, do you know what? Yeah, of course, mate. And that's why we've got an app on our phone, and we literally click it, get a letter out to them next week. Yeah. But we get paid for the value that we add. So those plots that you're talking about, where you say like a little bungalow that's on half an acre, they'll get hundreds of letters. Because everyone can see that, right? Yeah. It's having the skill set to be able to see something that someone else can't. And the skill set by assembling a site because most people won't take their time out and contact 1, 2, 3, 4 vendors.
Yeah. That is the skill set.
That's the graph.
Yeah. Bringing them
and you
all
imagine
together.
How many times that I've got 2 people to agree, but I need third one.
Yeah.
No, fuck off, George.
Yeah.
Okay, it goes onto the refresh list. Every 6 months, they'll keep getting a letter.
Yeah, nice.
Because at some point, a life event's going to change, and I'll be the first person they come and think of.
Yeah, nice. And how do you put these together? Use a drone, or is it some software, or Google Maps?
Software, mate. Software. So there's lots of mapping software out there at the moment that people can use. And since I've been properly doing it, the competition has increased dramatically.
Of people like you, or the software? Of people like you?
Developers, land agents, people looking to do this. But as I explained to landowners, there's a difference between me being a developer and building my sites out, and looking at your scheme as a developer and being able to deliver that to someone that's coming along as a intermediary, what we call a trader in the industry. Sometimes they're seen as landowners don't always like dealing with them, because they just see that I bought your plot of land for 120 grand and I'm selling it for 200. They don't see the bit in between that I've done. But it's a bit of paper, it's a paper exercise. Do you see what I'm saying? So you can imagine that a lot of people, and this is why we have to educate our landowners, and why I sit down and do a presentation from start to finish, and they have to sit in that presentation, okay? Because I'm trying to explain to them that the other 4 offers you've had on the table are plucked from there. Okay, I've come here with a massing. We know exactly how many houses. We know what the realistic number of houses we're going to get planning for, because I can put 10 houses on it, but we're not going to get planning for it. The other developers just said this, to get you in a contract, do you know what's going to happen in 3 months' time?
Go on.
He's going to renege, he's going to renegotiate. I've done the front end due diligence now, to a certain degree. I can't do everything, but this is why it's taken me 21 days to present an offer to you. I can't come here today and say I can build 2 houses, but you can definitely build 2 houses. Said who? Oh, that's what we think we can. Okay, have you had architecture drawings? Have you had a tree survey done? You know, have you looked at these things and factored in? No. And that's why we give them a list of things. If you're not going to deal with me, next developer that comes and knocks on your door, I'll give them a checklist, and it's an actual printed out PDF document that we actually give to them. And it's like, okay, if we did ask that and they didn't have an answer for that and didn't have an answer for that, have you checked their accounts? Have you checked any local developments they've done? And they're like, and it's that point of, okay, you're the trusted source, we're going to come back to you, even though you offered 100 grand less, we now can see why you've offered 100 grand less.
It sounds like, and I think we've spoke about this before, it sounds like that there's a bit of a product available here, because everything you've just shared there sounds very linear, it sounds very process, and well, it will be if you're doing it, very process, procedural, systemised, step-by-step thing to get you from first knock on the door to money in the bank, profit. That process sounds like it could be copied and repeated. It sounds like there's a product there available for someone to buy, as in the process. So how would...
I would love to do it, mate.
You would love to? Training?
This is my issue with the training industry. Right? We'll
come back to that statement.
I'll go into Instagram now, I'll go into Facebook. I'll be bombarded by rent-to-rent trainers, HMO conversions. Why is that? Ask yourself what sourcing. Why is that?
Do you know why that is?
I know why it is, but tell me why you think it is.
Because that is someone that's selling a course to someone that's got no money.
Spot on.
So when someone's got no money, they look at these no money down strategies, sourcing, rent to rent, and all the fucking rest of it, and they go, I ain't got any money. So they immediately connect to the ad because they've got no money. But the paradox, is that a paradox? Where to learn how to do the free thing where you don't need any money, you've got to pay for it. So it's kind of counterintuitive that to learn how to do something that's free, you've got to pay for it.
And do you know what else it is?
I think it is.
I think that's 100% right. Barriers to entry are a lot lower. But think of it logically. How does my business, my coaching business grow? By testimonials, by referrals, by people getting results. I could put a rent-to-rent course on now, and someone could go and sign a landlord up tomorrow and say, I've signed this up. I've got rent-to-rent that's making me £400, £500. What they don't share with you is when things go wrong, when the margins get squeezed. So it's quick. It's quick. Get results quick.
I'm with you, Do
you see what I'm saying? Same with, if I put a course on now to do a HMO conversion, okay? I will teach you a way that you can do it. If you've got enough money in the bank, you can do it, but you've got results. But that doesn't mean that it's been a good investment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you found a house, you converted it, well done. The real thing is, it's not about how pretty the pictures are, is tell me what your P&L looks like for that property in 12 months' time. How are you managing the voids? What's your maintenance procedure?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the difference
Do you
now
see what
between
I'm saying?
marketing and reality, right?
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah,
but I'm also saying, if I want to put a course on, now with land, I can't promise you that you're going to get an outcome. And you need to and the reason for that being is because it relies on planning.
Yes.
Okay? It relies on you going to knock on doors, it relies on you sending a certain number. People aren't willing to do it, mate. They want the quicker fix and what. And
do you think that's true?
I do, mate, yeah. I do. There are certain people.
I'm not happy with you generalising the
You're
entire.
not?
No, I'm not, because mine's a slow process. My training business, for a person to, I don't do HMO. I don't do any property strategy, in fact. So with the building knowledge, the project management knowledge you get with me, you aren't seeing results from that in 12 months. It's going to come later when you systemize and you grow and you repeat your business.
But when you buy your first refurbishment project with your system, it's a win.
It is.
It is a win.
It is.
Agreed. It's a win. It's a win, and there's that immediate, I have got a result. By going on this course, I have had an outcome that is improved.
Yes.
Okay? 100%. Now, what
agreed.
I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying that people, that's maybe a bit of a generalisation, but I know what it takes to be able to get a site for planning for 1 house, for 10 houses, 15 houses. I can't sit and look at the whites of someone's eyes and say, you are going to get this in 12 months.
We don't need to, do you?
I know you're right, but I want that though. That's what I want, because that's what I want.
And I'm learning French.
And that's why I want my mentees to go, right, George, you have changed my life. I've got a site in planning, I'm going to make 200 grand out of this.
Yeah, and they can still have that, just going to take longer. So as long as you set that expectation, just like learning guitar, learning a foreign language, it's going to take longer. As long as you set that expectation at the beginning, look, you can work with me over the next 12 months, 24 months, 36 months.
And it's that 12-month thing. You're probably right, mate. It's that 12-month thing that I know that it's going to probably take longer, and you're going to need my handhold longer than 6 months. I can't give you that in 6 months. It might be 12 months. More than likely, knowing the planning system and where we're at, from finding a site, sitting down with someone, it's going to take 2 months negotiation, you get into contract. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
And I want people...
And I think the conflict is coming
we live in a society where people want that. Do
you
get what I'm saying?
Gratification, completely. And I think that you talked about your character earlier in this session where, like, you can't keep still and you want to know what's next. And I think that is where the conflict is coming in you.
Maybe.
Your character is fucking now, drive. But the process in the business that you're in is not that. It's long and it's drawn out, and it's you can have your profit later, and you're like, you fucking just give it me now. Where we go? Wait, you have all that frustration with planning and all the rest of it. But I think that it's at them times where you, as a coach, as a mentor, that's where you are needed. In them tough times, in them times where people are sat fucking, this fucking planning's taking forever, I'm out. That is when they need you.
Yeah, maybe you're right, actually.
Tell me someone else that would support someone through a planning process for 12 months.
Yeah, they won't.
There's no one going to do that.
But all right, even if there's only so much support I can give you, but what can you be doing in the meantime? It doesn't cost anything more to be going knocking on doors and finding more sites. Go and get 10 sites.
Yeah, but that in a process is itself, isn't it? So you could build you could work with someone to build a repeatable process. Like, it could be just stacked up. You put one in January, one in February, so you've always got something in. And then in year 2, you're going to be seeing profits of January, February, I don't know what they might be, 100k, 200k, that's that. And then year 2 is when the fruit machine comes down.
But coming back to your thing about price point, okay, do people do these rent-to-rent courses because it's a lower price point to get them into their funnel?
Yep, and it's easy.
Exactly, that's my point.
The process is easy, yeah.
And starting off with a high ticket, I don't know, I've got all these sort of, and I'm not in the education game, and I've sat there thinking, I could take 10 mentees on, and charge probably 5-10 grand a month. Yep. And it's a great business. It's a great business to have alongside, and I'm bringing genuine value. I bring absolutely everything I know to it, and I'm like, but am I going to be able to can I sit there and go, you're going to give me 10-15 grand and you're going to get this at the end of it? I can't guarantee that unless you do this. And I know it's the same with anything, but the level of work required and resilience and rejection, and you're going to have to go and knock on doors, and you're going to get 10 people. That's
where the coaching comes in. You can come in role play, in practice sessions, in a training room where we learn how to do that. Yeah. You can even bring people in and and go through the process with someone,
you're probably
with
right,
a live client.
That's what I would do, yeah.
Yeah. It's, mate, there's a market out there, I believe there's a market for everything. There is somebody out there right now. I've done this when I've watched your socials. There's somebody out there right now on Facebook, TikTok, wherever people follow you. They look at you and they go, fucking, I want to do what he's doing. But they don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, you're doing the world a disservice having the answer to that problem and not sharing it.
Yeah, it's food for thought, mate.
I've said that to everybody that comes on here.
Yeah, you haven't, I've seen it, yeah.
It's like it's almost selfish. And it comes back to the point of not wanting to create competition.
Yeah.
Like, if you can show someone to A, build more houses to home more people, B, make a fucking shit ton of money over a long-term period and not just flash bang rent to rent, fucking get shafted up the arse in a few months' time. Like, and build a solid reputation around working with someone over a long period of time. Like, I've got people in my mastermind that have been in 4 years.
Yeah.
Because they're getting repeated results, they're getting consistent and constant coaching. Because that's what's required to win in this game.
Yeah.
There is no fucking 7-day course, go out and do it on your own and be a fucking multimillionaire. That's not a thing.
People want it as well, though, don't they?
People want that.
You ask for your template.
People want that because that's what the marketing promised them. And I think as long as you're clear in your marketing message, as long as you're clear in your sales process and saying, look, this is not easy, this is fucking hard work. You know, talking to contractors is hard work. Pulling contracts together is fucking hard work. Site management is a fucking hard work. And you know, we get there, what's the easy option? What's the lazy option? Who can I hire to do that for me? Well, you can do any of that, just not with me. Because I'm telling you now, it's hard work.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I think as my marketing message around how hard it is to work with me is really clear. No one thinks, when someone comes in this room, nobody thinks they're here for 2 days, I'll be a millionaire in a year. No one thinks that. They're ready for change, they're ready for transformation, they're ready for business development and implementation. They are ready for that when they come here. Like I'd hate it for someone to come here and they finish a course and go, well, fucking, now what? Like, what do I do now?
Yeah. That
would be shit.
Yeah, no. Just give me the old cogs are turning now.
Mate, it's a service that's needed. It's a service that's required.
We've spoken about it before, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, yeah. Everybody, the world needs more fucking mentors. It does, but honest ones, reliable ones, trustworthy ones, one that deliver on the thing that they have, the knowledge that they have inside their body. Like if my coach, for example, he wants to change how the world sells. That's his mission. And I've been working with him for over 3 years. Because I want to sell in a way in which he does.
Yeah.
In service, with elegance, with grace, with honesty, with integrity. I'd fucking hate to sell something to someone and get a complaint. That wasn't what you said. I'd hate that. I would. Yeah. That would fuck with my ego big time.
And me.
I'd hate it. And thankfully, I'm grateful it's never happened in our 5 years of training. And if someone's got that skill, if someone's got the ability to share that knowledge with the world and they don't do it, it's fucking selfish, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it. I saw you put a post up the other day about no sales networking events.
Yeah, pitch free networking.
Yeah, that was it.
That's toxic, that message.
I was thinking about what you said. I was like, yeah, it's pretty true, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
If you can offer value and I've got something that's going to add to your life, why would I not share it?
Exactly. Yeah, I've got this fucking water. I know you're dying of thirst, mate, and I've got a glass of water here.
Yeah.
But we're not allowed to sell because selling's dirty, so you're not having it.
Yeah.
Like, that makes me a full fucking dickhead.
It does, yeah. It does.
Yeah, everybody wants to create wealth. Everybody wants to make money and build a business. We all want that. And if someone's got the answer, the guide, the support, the framework, the fucking whatever you want to call it, the process, for someone to be able to go away and do that, you have a duty to the human race to share that, be that for a fee or not. There's a guy called Simon Squibb, I don't know if you know who he is.
Yep.
He does it all for free. But he has this business solution that he calls it. The man's been in business 30 years, built 92 companies, I think it is. And
I've seen him on Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, if you YouTube him, he's got a 2.5 hour video where someone can sit down and learn the steps process. He doesn't charge for it, and he's very much about giving mentorship away for free. And he'll go to London and walk down
the street,
the bridge, and just stop someone and say, "I want to change your life." And of course, everyone thinks it's a con. He doesn't get many people take him up on it.
That's mad, isn't it?
It is mad, yeah. But that's just how we're all indoctrinated.
Yeah, that is mad.
Yeah. Like when you have this, when you've got imagine finding the cure for cancer and keeping it secret. That's how I see it, genuinely.
Yeah, it's true.
Like if I can help others, yes, I charge a fee for it because it's a business. If I can help somebody,
but there's just so much shit out there, mate.
There is, but that's no reflection of me.
Yeah, no,
and I don't get involved with it at all.
Yeah.
Like all the other fucking training businesses, I just let them carry on. I don't associate with them. They're nothing to do with me. And I don't even. Sometimes people confuse me with the property training sphere. I don't teach property at all. It's refurbishment, it's construction, it's project management. It's the key to unlocking profits from property investing 100%. Is what I do, as you know. It's a fucking, mate, the education industry is massive. I've worked with some great coaches, I've worked with some great products, online, in person, and I've worked with some fucking shit as well.
Also, mate, though, but you're of the mindset, and this is what people say when I get up being asked this question, what do you think about property training? Every course I go on, I will take one thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That one thing.
Yeah.
You've got to go in with that mindset, well, I'm going, shit, but you've taken one thing.
Yeah.
Now, that one thing could be £100,000 idea,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And I think you've got to go in with the right mindset. You've got to try and absorb the information and ask better questions.
Yeah, totally.
You know, how does this work? What does that, and just
being
everything is there. And I appreciate they might be teaching strategies that they did 3 years ago. They haven't bought a house but try and there's got to be something you can take from it. Every course. Yep.
Absolutely. I went on a crypto course. I touched on it before we started in Nottingham a few days ago.
Yep.
And I've bought and held crypto for a number of years, and I've got FOMO around trading. I'm seeing people getting some great results from trading crypto, and I didn't want the knowledge per se. I didn't want to go through the hard work. And this comes back to our thing about long term again. And it was a presentation of this guy who was selling a trading course.
Yep.
Went on full day's training. He did this mindset piece right at the beginning, and he asked a couple of questions which asked you to analyse your personality style and how you would perform in a situation where a coin was going up and where a coin was coming down, and you had to self-study. And that's the thing I took away. I took nothing away from the trading knowledge. Element. It was the psychological part and how I would perform, asking myself questions and answering them honestly. Yeah. And I know I'm fucking emotional, and I know I'm irrational.
So does that mean that you would not make a good trader?
I'd make a shit trader. But that's the thing I took away.
Yeah.
And he got to his pitch, and the course was. He said, it's going to take you 8 weeks to learn this process of about 8 hours a week. And going back to your point about people want everything now, that was me. I went, I ain't fucking sitting behind a computer for 8 hours, 8 weeks, I'm out, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So I'd already told myself, emotionally, I'm not going to be a good trader. And I've also then told myself, I'm not committing that time to it. So I satisfied my curiosity
that's good.
by going to the one thing. And whilst it wasn't a negative experience, I didn't move forward with something I thought I wanted because of the information that he shared, which was important. He could have started that day with, you're all going to be multimillionaires in fucking 6 days, you just copy what I'm doing and blah, 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 and it's $5,000, and everybody, he'd have closed everybody in the room if he'd have done that. But he didn't do that, and I'm grateful for that. There was 150 people there, everybody would have bought his product.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll tell you what is quite interesting though, is that you've got the intelligence, or maybe the emotional intelligence, to be able to identify that your skill set was not suited for that.
Correct, yeah.
How many people in property, I see it, I'm going to go and do that.
Yeah,
I'm going to go and do service accommodation. I'm like, bruv, listen to yourself. You're not meant for that. That's not you. You're not reactive enough. You're not on the ball. Maybe look at something. And that's something that I think why I did quite well by choosing a strategy that a lot of people wouldn't have chosen as my initial strategy within property. And I hate using this strategies thing. You know, we're in the game of adding value in property, whether it's planning, whether it's but my point being is I knew that if I could get in front of someone, one of my skill sets happens to be I'm pretty good at communicating complex things in a fairly simple way. And I knew that if I could do that and get in front of someone, I could probably close some people because I believe that I can offer some value, right? But how many people go into things and I'm like, that's not you, that's not your personality. You're going to do something and you're not going to get the results, and then you're going to flitter to something else. You're going to take a step back and really look at what are you good at when selecting what you're going to focus on.
Yeah. Not only what you're good at, what do you love doing?
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Yeah, I loved, when I first started, I loved being on site. I fucking loved it. I was built for it, made for it. Now I've progressed personally and mentally, and from a business development perspective, I now hate being on site. And I've studied this into why I've changed that thinking.
Yep.
And when I loved being on site, I was a lower level thinker, and I thought the same as them, same as tradespeople. You know, I drank a lot of beer. I was on site having the crack, inappropriate jokes. You know how it is on site.
I do, yeah.
Sweeping shit up, pissing on each other, all the rest of it. And that was, I loved it at the time. But as I've developed through life, they're still all doing that.
Yeah.
And I look now and I look back at that, and I am truly, I think grateful is probably the right word, that I've had that experience of development.
You don't turn your nose up a bit.
I don't turn my nose up.
Same as me. But you, exactly, mate. You're aware.
I don't go to site anymore because of it.
Yeah.
Not because I get dragged back in, but I don't go to site because it's not something I would enjoy anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I am now very driven, very focused on what I'm doing. You know, I just want to succeed in life. I want to get
with
better,
that mindset
everything.
that you've got, you could take your construction business to the stratosphere, couldn't you?
I could, yeah.
I know you could, and I know you've capped it because you're focusing on other areas.
Like that
I know you could. Yeah. And this is an interesting point, something I want to bring up today is, I see so many contractors, principal, main contractors, that are fantastic. Really, really good. They've come off the tools, they've taken a leap out there, and they're really good at delivering that one thing that they deliver. They get a bit busier. I'm giving them recommendations. You're good. They've now gone from that $500,000 mark to $1 million. They've now taken on 20 jobs. Everything goes to shit. Totally. I get a letter, we're wounding up. Contracts their own money. The problem is they were good at what they did. And they didn't improve their skill set enough to manage a business of 50 tradesmen, whether they're subbies, in-house, and they went to shit. And I see it, and everyone goes, give us a recommendation for a builder. I'll give you a recommendation now. It's the same with a solicitor. You can be good now, but you're going to be shit. Everything, and I think in this, and it's not just the building game, service has just gone to shit in this country. We'll just take more and more on. I'll pay you more, but just fucking deliver on what you said you can do in the time frames. It drives me fucking mental.
It does me. People think that to make more money, they have to get busier and take more on. No. Be more efficient. Be more effective in the things that you're doing. You said it earlier. Just get as lean as fuck. That's where all your losses are right now. Like most tradesmen are not businessmen. They're busy men. And they just get busier and busier and busier. And they think genuinely, and I can hand on heart say this at a high percentage, but all statistics are made up, I'll say 95%. They genuinely think that for them to make more money, they have two options. Put their price up, take on more work. And they think that's the only solution. And what happens is they take on more work thinking that's going to get them more money, but then the fucking profits are pissing through their fingers because they're not managing it properly. They're losing hand over fist on materials going in the bin, people stealing off them. They're not managing the process properly.
And they were making the same amount of money.
All the clients off.
They're making the same amount of money. They've increased their revenue. They've got more headache now because they've doubled their work, but they're still making the same margin.
Exactly.
You're still going home with the same, but it's that vanity matrix. I'm taking turnover 2 million.
I've done turnover 2 million.
But what they don't tell you is, and I've seen it, Paul. And then the subbies that they use, they're using new subbies. The quality of the workmanship goes shit. This person hasn't been paid. I've now got 2 weeks to get a new electrician in. I'm like, I can see it a mile off. I'm just like, slow, steady.
Can't manage cash flow. Don't know how to plot their fucking spending or anything.
So we had a contractor go belly up on me last year.
Mid-project?
Yep.
Oh, nightmare.
Not mid-project, that's a lie. 80% there. I thought it was fine. Now I've set my contracts up in the way where I've got JCT. We only pay for what's been done as per the monitoring surveyor. I've got retentions, rightly or wrongly, whether you agree with me, negotiated that and agreed that. I mean, it can't be that bad. Well, it is, mate. Yeah. It is. It's the amount of man hours I've got to put into it now. I've got to find it, take it over now myself. Then finding out, oh, the Sparky that's supposed to come back to sign off my building certificate hasn't been paid. But mate, I've paid you. I paid it to the main contractor. Sorry, mate, they owe me £8,000. And to finish the work, it's going to cost you 2. But I paid it. Well, you've got a problem, mate, because no one else is going to sign off my work. So that, we only had that little bit left. I'm now catching the cold for the plumber, for this. And I had a scenario, listen to this, mate, I had to phone them up because they were going round, one contract was owed money, and I get it, wanted to rip radiators, boilers out. I said, you fucking come to my property and you start ripping shit out. I paid for this, I get you trying to recover there'll be a world of pain. I had to change all the lot, they were doing it. And you think, I get it because they're owed that money. I need to recoup my costs. But you just sit there thinking, right, well, I've cleared, and they said, George, I know you've paid, but we ain't got it. We ain't got the money for the flooring. We haven't got it, and I'm sitting here. Just, you have to go full steam ahead and just take it on. You're like, right, I've just got to deliver this fucker, because you remember that is a liability to the max until this is bringing in some income. Just get it delivered, get your head down. But people don't talk about these things on these courses. They don't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. They say, I think that the 3 bits of advice I've taken about delivering a project from property trainers, and I use that phrase as a generalisation, is you just need to ring a builder. That's my favourite. Use a square metre rate to deliver a project. Like, what? I don't even know what the fuck that's supposed to mean.
That's your favourite one, isn't it, mate?
Yeah. And get 3
square metre rate.
Get 3 quotes. Like, how the fuck is any of that helpful?
Yeah, it's not.
It's none of it. Yeah. That is not the nuts and
bolts. And just follow the
job.
example of this one that I've seen on Instagram that's like a boutique hotel, and I want you to spend all this money on it, doing it like that. But the market doesn't need that. It doesn't need that.
Yeah, it's in Scunthorpe. Yeah.
Madness, mate.
George, I'm going to bring that to a close. I think we've gone on for, how long's that?
Hour and 10.
Fucking hell, normally only 40 minutes.
All right, there you go.
Amazing.
Got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Thanks for coming, mate. It's been a pleasure.
No, legend. Thank you, mate.
Thanks for sticking around till the end. All the social handles from both of us are below. I'll see you in the next one.